To another blazing fast advisory here from MYTHIC's 4 Cyclonic Minutes for the first advisory on Tropical Storm Claudette, which has just formed in the North Atlantic. As it is typical with these El Nino seasons, we're going to have these storms forming up in the Gulf Stream, which is much warmer than average. Tropical Storm Claudette is located at 38.9 north, 64.9 west, with winds of 50 miles an hour, surprisingly, which puts it all the way up as a tropical storm on the Saffir-Simpson scale. It's moving to the east-northeast at a surprisingly fast 20 miles an hour, which really hurts its CDPS rating and puts it all the way down to a stage 1, which basically means minimal threat. If we take a look at the track for Claudette, it's expected to pretty much weaken slowly and transform into an extratropical cyclone as it nears the Canadian Maritimes and get absorbed by a much larger low to the north. Here is satellite imagery of Tropical Storm Claudette. As you can see, the shear value with the center of the storm is just completely exposed in this thing. And now here's the BD enhancement, which you can really see the shear here. All the convections up to the north and east of the system, nothing onto the south and west. Taking a look at the sea surface temperatures, very warm where it is right now, about 25-26 degrees Celsius, and moving off to the north and east, well, it's going to run into cooler waters rather quickly, and that's one of the reasons for its weakening. Not only that, but it's also going to be running into shear, and not just that, but increasing shear. So that's two negatives. And we take a look at the water vapor imagery here. There's not really dry air, so that's going for it. So not really dry air to work with, but increasing wind shear, decreasing sea surface temperatures, meaning weakening of the system. Let's go out now and let's take a look at these models actually. See what the GFS has. This blob right here, this is Claudette. And we'll move it forward here as it gets up here to Newfoundland and gets absorbed by a much larger storm off into Canada. The CMC, again, here's Claudette, if you want to track it. And this storm is getting taken off to the north and east, and then doesn't even make it to Newfoundland before it is pretty much entirely absorbed by a system coming in from the east. The ECMWF, there's Claudette there, and then Claudette's starting to get absorbed, and then gone at 72 hours. So really not much to talk about when we're talking about that, when we're talking about the models. So main points with the system, no threat at all to U.S. soil for Claudette. It'll affect Newfoundland or Nova Scotia as a very weak extratropical system. High wind shear will weaken it. Lower sea surface temperatures will weaken it. No intensification is expected at all. And impacts in the Maritimes are expected to be minimal from this system. Elsewhere in the world, well, we have 4 other active systems. We'll start with the 2 storms in the East Pacific. Hurricane Dolores, which was recently upgraded to a Category 1, has a CDPS rating of Stage 4, so potentially dangerous storm there. And then Tropical Storm Enrique, which is not looking good. It is a tropical storm with a CDPS rating of Stage 1. Basically nothing to work with there. And now we have 2 storms in the Western Pacific. First off, the storm on the left is Typhoon Nanka, which has just recently lost its inner eye wall, and it has winds of 110 miles per hour, and it's the largest of these 4 systems, and by far the most dangerous, with a CDPS rating of 36. Later on, you might see a live update for Nanka, actually, because it may affect the Kyoto area as a major hurricane. You might see more on that later. And we also have Typhoon Halola, which is crossed over from the Central Pacific with winds of 90 miles per hour and a CDPS rating of 18, which is just below Stage 4. The next update will be around noon, and we'll see you later.